up, beautiful people? It is your boy Day of Man United Talks. We are here for another preview. I was not able to cover the Huddersfield game, but we came out with 3 points, and that is all that matters. Forgive me for moving the mic around. Anyway, let's get right into it. If you do enjoy, please drop a like and subscribe and share it and all that good stuff. Hope you all had great Christmases. I'm still feeling a bit festive. I'm not ready for it to be over, to be honest. I love Christmas a lot. But, let's enjoy some holiday football. So last time out, Manchester United played Huddersfield at Old Trafford. 3-1 victors. Paul Pogba got a couple goals, and Matic scored a scrappy one to open it up. I watched the game back the full 90, since which there were a couple things that I loved and a couple things that I was confused about. The thing I was confused about was seeing Delo come off. I don't know what that was about, but Ollie, he saw what we were doing, and he didn't think it was to the best of our ability. Excuse me. Jeez. Thus the changes, And then we went and got 2 more goals. So, he made good changes. He brought on, who did he bring? He brought on Ashley Young and Herrera in place of Fred and Delo. And, in fairness to him, it was effective. Fred and Herrera, more or less for me, do the same thing. I think Fred's a bit more intuitive. His vision is a bit different to Herrera's. He's a better spreader of the ball. Herrera's good in tight spaces, and they can both pass the ball. They both do the same thing, but there's just slight nuances that make them different. But fair enough. We just got a solid team. Matic, most passes going forward. He completed 36 forward passes, which I am just absolutely proud of. I've got my foot in my mouth because I didn't know. To me, it looked like Matic was just done as a player under Mourinho, but that's just purely, now we see Mourinho he drained everyone at this club. His ego, his just bad, aura, I guess, around the club really didn't help anyone. We were making up excuses. Oh, Matic had surgery. Matic played a decent stretch in the World Cup. He needs real rest. And we said the same about Lukaku. Now, he's been off on compassionate leave, which is, what I don't know what exactly he's dealing with, but, if he's doing, dealing with, I don't want to speak anything, knock on wood, a death in the family or someone is sick in his family, that is also draining for you. So it's not real rest. When I wanted him to rest, I wanted him to get a couple weeks off where he was just purely chilling out, drinking some coconut water on the beach, really getting some real rest. But now that I've seen the turnaround Matic has had, mind you, Matic didn't go to the semifinal of the World Cup. Now that I've seen the turnaround, I don't know if he needs that rest. I think maybe he just needs the motivation and the direction of a real, coach who is willing to let him off his leash. And I think we'll get that. I have all faith that Ollie knows what he's doing. And it's clear to see, we with the last couple of results, we have managed a 6-goal difference, which we didn't break even until we broke even a couple times under Mourinho, but it was negative for the most part. We conceded 26 goals in something like 14 games, which is just far, far beyond unacceptable. And Alexis Sanchez is also coming back. So, speaking of that, before I get into the lineups, this is how I've got the team laid out, as you see there. United 6 and 32 points. Decent form since Ollie's come in. He's undefeated. 100% win record. That's brilliant. Rashford, Lingard, and Pogba are top performers, in my opinion. I don't really think Matic. I guess you could add Matic to that list, to be fair. You could add Matic to that list. And had Martial played last game, I think he'd probably be in there too. But those are the big 3 for me, and Matic is not far off from those lads. Mata's also been decent as well, but he hasn't got any goals or assists, so obviously you wouldn't see something. He's not in the spotlight, as you would say. As for injuries, Smalling, Rojo, and McTominay are those that are listed. Smalling won't be back until apparently the Tottenham game, January 13th, I believe it is. Rojo and McTominay are still on the verge of returning to first-team action, or training, I should say. So that's what's the deal with those lot. Now, let's get into the lineups, and then we'll talk about Bournemouth. Here we go. This is what I have gone with. This is a team I think we will play. Martial has been training. He just wasn't, he was ill due to food poisoning. over Christmas, so there was no injury or anything. So I think he'll slot right back in. Now, as for Lukaku and Sanchez obviously recovering from an injury, and Lukaku, he's still fit to play. He wasn't injured, we all know he was on compassionate leave. But with the system we got going on, I think we should keep Marcus and Lingard in and out bouts. Let them start it off, and then bring Lukaku in. Hopefully things are going well. We're up a couple goals. Bring Lukaku in. Bring Sanchez in. Let him get a feel. But I think, like most people are saying, Sanchez will more than likely thrive with the system we're playing. There's a lot of freedom, and apparently after the after the game, Ole was making a point that Marcus makes a lot of runs, stretches defenses, but we don't pass the ball in those channels enough, and that is something Alexis Sanchez does do. Pogba can do it as well, but that is something Alexis Sanchez is famous for. He got a couple assists like that last season. But he while he is a great attacking player, goal scoring wise, he can pass. He's got a great eye for a pass. Vision is top notch. So, I digress. This is the lineup I've gone with: David De Gea net, back for Dalot, Bailly, Lindelof, Shaw. I think this is probably the time for Bailly to come in, dealing with the likes of Joshua King and Callum Wilson a bit quicker. I think Bailly is maybe a bit more suited to this sort of game. Bournemouth play the ball on the floor, so Lindelof is a bit more suited as well. I think, this is the type of game where Jones might give away another penalty or just do something stupid. And I don't think, with a team like Bournemouth who play quick moving football, I don't think Phil Jones is in need right now. So hopefully, we see Eric Bailly. But if we do see Jones, I believe, Solskjaer, maybe that's his preferred starting, center back duo is Lindelof and Jones. It could be. He's picked them 2 games in a row against 2 inferior teams. So such is life. But the midfield, I think this is the midfield we all wanted when we first bought Matic. It's the Pogba, Herrera, and Matic midfield. And it's looking, these last 2 games, this is what it should have been from Jump Street. We played the 4-4-2 with Matic and Pogba, and Herrera came on as a sub for Mata most of the time, or Mkhitaryan. This is what it should have been all the time. But yeah, that's that. And the front 3 I've gone with Martial. Like I said, he can slot right back in. Rashford and Lingard. Now, obviously, Lingard's going to drift inside. One surprise I wouldn't be surprised to see. That sounds a bit special. One thing I wouldn't be surprised to see, or wouldn't surprise me, is to see Valencia come back in. Simply because, I don't know if Solskjaer has the full confidence in Dalot yet. I do, especially against teams like, the lower level teams. And I think he can only get better with the better test that he gets. So Ryan Fraser will be a great test for Dalot. If you keep playing him against the I guess lower level, like the Sully Marches of the world, and I mean he hasn't even played against him yet, but you know what I mean. Excuse me. Ryan Fraser is a below the top tier, not far off though. He's absolutely brilliant, but he's not Leroy Sané, he's not Raheem Sterling, he's not Sadio Mane. Saying that, Dalot did play against Mane, but that's what I've gone with. I think that's a smart decision. So, let me know what you guys think. Let me know who your choice would be. That's what I've gone with. Now let's talk a bit about Bournemouth. Let's do it. Okay, so Bournemouth sit 12th in the league, which is where you expect them to be, thereabouts. I can't remember my season predictions, but personally, from where we are now, I believe they'll finish in the top 10. Definitely think they'll finish in the top 10. They got some solid football, and as you see, their injury list is just full at the moment, and a couple of their players won't be back until the end of the season. So that's a struggle. A couple of those players are starters for them, so it's tough. But they haven't been in the greatest run of form recently. However, they do play a solid brand of football, but it should be no match now that we're seeing the best of what this team has to offer. Top performers, I got Brooks and King there. King with a couple assists recently, or an assist, and Brooks scored the last couple goals for them against Brighton. who they beat, but that was with 10 men. And then they lost to, was it Liverpool? They just got beat by 4-0. I believe so. Forgive me if I'm wrong. But yeah, they're not in a good space right now because, like I said, there's quite a few starters in their injury list. So that's unfortunate. But Eddie Howe, he's a good manager. So, you can't. This is the Premier League, and you can't write off anything. But in closing, I'm gonna go with my score prediction. We're at Old Trafford again. I'll finally be able to watch this game because I missed the last couple. I didn't see the full 90 minutes. Who did we play? Cardiff. I didn't get to see that whole game. No, I saw the whole Cardiff game. Didn't get to see the last game. Forgive me for mumbling. I'm going to say, I really want us to keep a clean sheet. But of the teams that we've played so far, I would have said we would have kept a clean sheet against Huddersfield and Cardiff. We didn't. And of all of those three teams, Huddersfield, Cardiff, and Bournemouth, I would have said we would have conceded to Bournemouth. So I'm going to say 4-1. Maybe 3-1. That would be... Oh, yeah, I would accept the 3-1, but I'm going to say 4-1. Lukaku and Sanchez coming off the bench, I think that's going to be huge for us. Yeah, but that's about it done for me. If you guys did enjoy, please drop a like and subscribe. You guys are freaking awesome, and I hope you enjoy your, rest of your day. And I'm out of here. Deuces.